Hi, I'm Eve Menezes Cunningham, and welcome to the Feel Better Everyday podcast, helping you connect with and take better care of yourself and create a life you don't need to retreat from. Welcome to episode 8 of the Feel Better Everyday podcast. Today's guest is the delightful Martine Henry, one of my oldest friends and also a samba dance choreographer and milliner. She's turned her passions into her livelihood, and one of my favourite elements of this interview was her giving herself grace around self-care. And so I encourage you to ask yourself how you might do the same. Enjoy the episode. Thank you so much for joining me for the Feel Better Everyday podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me, Eve.
This is especially delightful for me because we're friends, and we've been friends since we both used to work for the same legal publishing company in London. And you became my boss, and you were the person who said go when my daily tears moved from sitting in the corner at my desk to kind of just sobbingly openly walking through the office. And I said, I think I might need to see my GP. But I remember we both used to go to entrepreneurial events and at alternatives. I've interviewed Nick Williams for this. I remember that he was one of the people we went to see. But I've known you such a long time, and you're such an inspiration with all you do, because you've turned your love of samba into retraining as a milliner and also teaching dance. So what are you working on now? How long have you been doing it?
So, I've been doing samba for, I think it's like 20 years now, and teaching it for about 15. So I've just finished Notting Hill Carnival and all the preparations for that. So really getting ready to start back again after a little break and work with a sort of little group of dancers with my samba school, and get them ready for some gigs, some shows, and with choreography and rehearsals. So there's that part. And also I'm working on my autumn winter sort of collection of hats and accessories and getting those ready as well.
Wonderful. And there'll be links to those in the show notes, so people can find out more about that. And I would love you to tell me about your ideal self-care morning routine. If you had all the time and energy in the world, what would you love to start each day with?
Oh, well, I would love to start each day with a meditation, both a sort of mindful one, just being sort of quiet in my mind, having a meditation, and also like a moving meditation. So either a yoga or Pilates for like a good hour. And then I would have a leisurely breakfast, the sort of breakfast you have when you're on holiday, where it's not rushed and you can actually take the time to eat your food. And then I would start my day. That would be my perfect, I think, self-care ritual for the morning.
And what is your actual essential? Like, what do you have to do no matter how little time or energy you have?
Well, I do try to meditate pretty much every morning. And I sort of start off, it was actually a sort of little trick that I picked up from our corporate life. So when we went through like a change process where we used to work, they introduced a technique called a temperature check, where you would ask everybody in your team, how are you feeling about this change? So I do my own little mini temperature check in the morning and see, like, how am I feeling? And if I feel like I want a specific meditation, like a guided meditation around a particular theme, I will do that. If I feel like, oh, in my body, you know what, I just want to move my body, I'll get up, maybe put on some music and do some yoga or just some stretching, or sometimes I just even just fling my body around and dance just to move.
Excellent.
And yeah, that's, or I would listen to sort of meditation that's just like, I like the meditations that are just sort of sound frequencies.
Okay.
So those are my sort of 3 things that I
Yeah.
really do try to do. And if I can't do a proper sort of 15-20 minute meditation, I'll try to do something that's just like 5 minutes, even if it's like gratitude meditation, or just thinking about what I want to do for the day, just to set me up.
Brilliant. So, what about the rest of the day? Like, if you had all the time and energy in the world, what would you be making time for each day? And especially when it comes to winding down before bed?
I really need to make more time for exercise. But I'm a firm believer in sort of exercise that you find joyous. And
Absolutely.
I think for me, dancing is one of those things. So I would try to make time to dance every single day, you know, specific, not just sort of in the kitchen or in the shower, but, you know, a specific time where I would dance to my favorite music. And towards the end of the day, again, if I haven't been able to meditate earlier in the day, I do try to meditate before I go to bed as well. So if I had all the time in the world, I would definitely introduce that, and just have some quiet time, and also I do try to journal, but I find it's just one of those things that you don't always get the time to do. So I would always spend some time like journaling before I go to bed. I think that's quite a useful tool. If you've got lots going on in your mind, it's just a way of sort of just emptying out your head before you go to bed. Then listening to some calming music, maybe lighting a candle. Don't fall asleep with the candle on. And yeah, I quite like, or if not a candle, I like to have some twinkly lights, just to sort of lower the light, make sure the phone is off, that sort of thing, and then just ease into bed. Yeah.
Wonderful. And what would be your essential if you were in a rush, if you'd been out, if like, what would be the thing you had to do?
I think just a very short meditation, maybe something around gratitude, maybe a to-do list for the next day. It depends on how busy I am and what's going on. They're really essential things, I think. And also turning the phone off. I always turn the phone off, and you know, so there's not that blue light sort of winking at you in the night.
So at what point do you turn the phone off? Like, some people do it a while before bed, or do you do it last thing, or?
I try to do it about half an hour before I go to bed. I've recently got myself some of those like blue light cancelling glasses, mainly because I really like accessories and I wanted an excuse to buy some more accessories. I thought, oh, let me get some blue light cancelling glasses. So I try about half an hour before, but there is, you know, the social media. Sometimes you're like, oh, let me just look at Instagram, and then you go down an Instagram well looking at, I don't know, videos of cats and whatever have you, or videos of people samba dancing. And then before you know it, it's, you know, 1:30 in the morning. So not great, but you know, I give myself grace. It's fine. And you know,
wonderful.
as long as I'm taking in positive things, it's fine.
Wonderful. And I love what you're saying about giving yourself grace, whatever you're doing. So if you were able to go back in time and send some grace and love and care and advice to younger Martine, what would that be?
Oh, I'm not sure. I was thinking about this the other day, and one of the things, I was really lucky at sixth form college, or sixth form school, they brought in a range of different people to speak to us about things like religion, politics and what have you. And one of the things, they did have a monk come in and talk to us and taught us a method for meditating, which I think back then in the, whenever it was, 90 something or other, I think that was probably quite innovative, sort of thinking about teaching students to meditate. And it's one of those things that I did do off and on, or I have done off and on. So I don't know if I would really change anything, because I like where I am now and everything got me to here. So it is what it is. Do the same, exactly as you did before, Martine. Don't change a thing.
Wonderful. Well, in the decades I've known you, you've always been delightful, and you've always had that gorgeous, grounded and totally yourself energy. But it's such a delight to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much. As I said, I'll have the information for people to find your millinery and samba on the show notes. But where can people find you online? What would you like to say about that now?
So you can find me on my website, which is martinehenrymillinery.com. You can also find me on Instagram, Martine Henry Millinery, and I also have another Instagram called MCH Studio, where I'm doing more of the sort of accessories and millinery stuff as well.
So, amazing.
Thank
you so much. Thank you for listening. I hope you found an opportunity where you can give yourself some grace, and that you will let me know how you get on either in the comments or by emailing eve@selfcarecoaching.net or contacting me via the Feel Better Everyday podcast. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, share, rate, review, comment. I really value your feedback. And next week, I'm really looking forward to sharing my interview with Feng Shui expert Priya Sher. Have a great week.